What was that moment where you knew that boxing was it for you?
Honestly, I think it was at the Olympics. I think it was I turned those gloves over and I saw the Olympic rings and I went, "Oh my gosh, I'm really here." Because everyone always said, "Richard, why are you boxing? You don't have to box. You do so many other things with your life." I was valedictorian. I was on a chess club. I was on a robotics team. I did a lot of stuff in high school. I'm taking classes in college. They're like, "Why are you even boxing?" And for the longest, it was hard for me to give a response, but after reading the meditations, after looking at myself at the Olympics, and after talking to my dad, this is really like, this is it. This is what we want to do. And other things are kind of like side quests now. It's fun, but boxing is the main.
I mean, yeah, man, you went to, the Tokyo Olympics, which was a big deal. Like, you made it all the way to the finals. And we're gonna go back, a couple years prior at Worlds, unfortunately you had lost to, if I'm saying his name correct, Jalalov,
Yeah,
the
Jalala.
He's from Uzbekistan. He got the knockout victory over you at Worlds in 2019, and then you saw him again in the Olympic final. Tell us your mindset going into that.
You can't have that knockout not be on your mind. When you go into the finals like that, or when you see something, especially because when I had to relook at the fight to study him for the finals, I had to watch my knockout. And it's really tough to do. But my mindset kind of going into that finals was like, I kind of have something up on every other fighter now. I've been to the bottom. I've been where no other fighter wants to be at. I've been I've been ridiculed. People would tell me I wasn't supposed to be in the ring. People would tell me like I shouldn't be boxing anyways. They were saying pretty mean stuff, and I even got like knockout of the year, and I was the guy getting knocked out. I've eh, the knockout had over 1 million views, and it's something that every fighter dreads, and no one wants to be there. And a lot of people that if they get knocked out like that, they'll stop boxing. I'm still here. You know, I made it back to the Olympics. I qualified and I was in the finals. And so my mindset in that finals was I'm supposed to be here. And I want to prove that I am. And I gave my all. That's all I could say.
Do you think that you had a bigger chip going in on your shoulder going into the second fight?
Yeah, no, that chip was definitely there going into the Olympic finals. And it was, again, I don't know if I want to prove it to someone else. I don't know if I want to prove to myself, but I want to prove something, and I'm actually thankful in ways that I got the silver, because I don't know if I would continue in the box if I got gold. If I'm being 100% honest
Really?
with you, I would have thought that I had achieved everything I needed to achieve. Growing up, my dad instilled in me the drive for the Olympic gold. He said, and what he did when he was growing up, I always want to be just like my dad. He went to the Olympic trials. He lost the Olympic trials, and he went to college, and then he became a teacher. I thought that's how my life was going to go too. And it wasn't until I made it to the Olympics, I was like, oh, this is kind of different. And then I made it to the finals, and then afterwards, all the promotional companies were calling me, and everyone was talking to me, where I was like, oh, this is who I am. And because I only got a silver, and it's a bittersweet moment, I still have that need of something to prove. I still need to be the best.
Mm.
I want it so bad, and I'm gonna work so hard until I get it one day, and I know I will. But it's a grind now, and because I got a silver, I'm more than willing to grind.
Wow. Is that mostly what fuels you?
That fuels me, the need to prove something to the people that don't believe, but it's also to prove something to the people that do believe. It's to prove to them that the sacrifice that my dad made over the past 15 years wasn't in vain. That when I missed my sister's birthday to go to nationals like 10 times in a row, like it wasn't for nothing. When I didn't go to prom, when I didn't go to the field trips, when I couldn't go out, when I couldn't party, when I couldn't do any of that stuff, I want to prove that those sacrifices weren't in vain. And that's also why I work so hard. And at the end of the day, I truly believe I'm a boxer. I really do. I believe that this is what I was put on earth to do. Um, I wasn't a firm believer in destiny or anything like that, but Marcus Aurelius told me, or they said in meditations, that like if you truly believe you were put on this earth for a reason, he says like bees aren't don't ask why they make honey, like trees don't ask why they bear fruit. Don't ask why you're doing what you do. You're here for a reason, and that gave me a lot of motivation, and said no, I am here for a reason.
How do you feel when people maybe they try to paint you as not the typical heavyweight?
I mean, there's sometimes where being the non-typical heavyweight is pretty cool. You know, like I see a lot of people like, oh, I don't watch boxing, but I just really like who you are, so I started watching your fights. That's amazing. You know, I love when people say that. But it's more so when people come in and they're like, oh, he's not a heavyweight. Oh, he's not a boxer. Oh, this guy's just kind of doing something. It's like, Jesus, man, I'm an Olympic silver medalist in the super heavyweight division. You know, I made my name for myself in the USA. I'm trying hard, and I feel like some of my accolades should prove a little bit of the type of boxer I am, and it's not. You know, a lot of people are still seeing me and they're saying like, "Oh, this guy doesn't know anything. He's too light. He's not this. He's not that." And I mean, it just kind of gives me more drive. You know, I want to show them. You know, I do want to prove it to them. I want to prove to people that I'm meant to be here, that I'm supposed to be on this scene, and I'm on the right path. You know, and I think that the only way I can do that is through boxing and is through showing them in the ring, and that's why I'm working so hard in camp right now.